It seems like what people have been talking about for the past few years is finally starting to come true. Apple might release its first foldable iPhone in the near future. Yes, for now, these are just leaks and insider reports, but there are so many of them now that it's impossible to ignore. And today, we're going to talk about what the iPhone Fold might be like, how much it could cost, why Apple has delayed releasing this device for so long, and whether it could change the smartphone market. Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today we're going to talk about the most anticipated new release of the year, the iPhone Fold. So make yourself comfortable and give this video a like. Let's go! If you look at the iPhone market today, it's obvious that it's become much harder to surprise users. Every year, cameras get better, processors get faster, batteries last much longer, but real revolutions are becoming fewer and farther between. That's why many people see foldable smartphones as the next step in the evolution of mobile devices. Samsung has been actively developing its Fold lineup for several years now. Honor is releasing incredibly thin foldable smartphones. Oppo, Vivo, and other brands are constantly experimenting with new form factors, while Apple has been watching from the sidelines all this time. If the company really has decided to release its own Fold, it means the technology has finally reached a level that satisfies them. But there's another problem that, for some reason, rarely gets mentioned when people discuss new iPhones. People usually argue about cameras, processors, screens, and new features. But the more expensive our smartphones become, the more important information we store on them. Photos, videos, contacts, messages, documents. And I think many people have faced a situation at least once where they accidentally deleted something important and realized that the data they needed was no longer on their phone. It's usually upsetting when it comes to old photos, work files, or important conversations. I recently tested the new version of Dr.Fone, 13.9, and noticed an interesting feature related to recovering data from an iCloud backup. Honestly, I've always been annoyed by the standard way of restoring through iCloud, because you usually have to completely restore the entire device backup, and that's not always convenient. Dr.Fone decided to take a slightly different approach to this. You log into your iCloud account through the program, after which it scans the available backups and shows you their contents, even before restoring. First, a snapshot of the backup is created, then you can browse photos, videos, contacts, messages, documents, WhatsApp data, and other supported files. If you find the data you need, you simply select it and restore only what's actually necessary. I like that you can check the contents of the backup for free before purchasing and see if the data you need is actually there. In other words, you can first make sure your files are available for recovery and only then make a decision. It supports photos, videos, contacts, messages, notes, call history, app data, and many other types of files. At the same time, it's important to understand that the recovery result always depends on the specific device backup. So no tool can guarantee 100% recovery in every case. If you want to see in detail how it works, there will be a link to Dr.Fone in the description below the video. And now, let's get back to the iPhone Fold. If all the rumors turn out to be true, we might soon see the most unusual iPhone in recent years. According to most leaks, Apple has chosen a book-style form factor, meaning the device will open up just like the Galaxy Fold. When folded, it's a regular smartphone. When unfolded, it's almost a full-fledged tablet. Rumor has it the external screen will be 6.5 inches, while the internal one will be close to 8 inches. But the most interesting thing isn't the size. Apple's main goal is to get rid of the crease in the middle of the screen. That crease has been the main drawback of such devices for many years. If Apple really manages to make it almost invisible, that could become one of the new device's biggest advantages. According to some reports, the company postponed the release of this device for several years precisely because it wasn't satisfied with the quality of previous technologies. And if that's true, then Apple is once again sticking to its favorite tried-and-true strategy: come out later than everyone else, but offer a more polished product. So why did Apple wait so long? In fact, the company's strategy has been well known for a long time. Apple rarely enters the market first. It prefers to watch its competitors, analyze their mistakes, and only then release its own solution. That's how it was with smartwatches, that's how it was with wireless earbuds, and even with large smartphones. So it's quite possible that the company was simply waiting for the moment when foldable screen technology would become reliable enough for the mass market. And if that's really the case, then Apple's first Fold could turn out to be a more mature device than the first generation of foldable smartphones from its competitors. Now, the most painful part? The price. According to most analysts, the device could cost more than $2,000. In fact, this could become the most expensive iPhone in Apple's history. Today, for that kind of money, you could buy a regular iPhone and a good laptop. So the question remains, are people really willing to pay that much for a foldable smartphone? Or will Apple have to really surprise users with brand new features? What will be the device's main feature? Personally, I think Apple's main trump card won't be the hardware. The company's real strength has always been in software, so it'll be much more interesting to see how iOS works on a large foldable screen. We might see true multitasking, multiple apps running at once, new ways to work with documents, and improved Apple Intelligence features. It's possible that completely new modes of operation will appear, ones that just can't be implemented on a regular smartphone. It's the software that can turn a foldable smartphone from an expensive toy into a truly useful device. Do we even need a foldable iPhone? And this is where the most interesting question comes up. Even though foldable smartphones have been around for several years, they still make up only a small share of the market. Most people still prefer classic models, so it's not a given that the iPhone Fold will become a mainstream device. Most likely, it will be a premium product for enthusiasts and fans of new technology. But when Apple enters a new device category, the market usually starts to grow much faster. So it's entirely possible that the iPhone Fold will be the device that finally makes foldable smartphones popular. Personally, I think the iPhone Fold will be one of Apple's biggest launches in recent years. Even if it seems expensive, even if it has flaws, because this is the first time Apple is entering the foldable smartphone market. But now the main question is for you. If Apple were to unveil the iPhone Fold tomorrow for $2,000 or even more, would you buy such a smartphone? Or do you think foldable devices are still just a niche toy for enthusiasts? Share your thoughts in the comments. This was Mike with you. See you in the next videos.